Audio description exists because blind audiences deserve to enjoy the same stories everyone else does. The people who make that happen are the AD writers, are the AD facilities, the AD quality control, and also voice performers. And those performers need a place to learn and connect and grow. VO Atlanta is that place for a lot of them. J. Michael Collins built the industry's largest voiceover conference, and he's making room for audio description. In this conversation, we talk about what abundance means in a creative industry, why audio description is earning more attention from serious voice talent, and what it actually costs to take risks in a long career. I'm honored to be able to present at VO Atlanta coming up at the end of this month. It's an honor to interview J. Michael. Enjoy. As always, this is for Kevin. Welcome to the AD&A Presents. Today, we are very honored to have J. Michael Collins joining us. He's got 30 years as a professional voice actor, and J. Michael Collins has worked with some of the biggest companies, the brands, the sports leagues, and organizations on the planet. In addition to his work in the classic agency-based world of VO, J. Michael has established himself as a leading authority in the online casting marketplace and has become recognized as an industry voice talent coach and demo producer as well. J. Michael has won more than 50 industry awards as a voice actor, a demo producer, a scriptwriter, and casting director. Along with his wife and business partner, Anna, J. Michael is the producer of VO Atlanta. It's the industry's largest and longest-running conference, co-producer of the One Voice Conference USA, and host voice actors each year at the luxurious venues in Europe for the signature JMC Euro VO retreats. This is one person who has the same 24 hours that all of us else has, so I don't know what's happening. I can't wait to find out more. Thank you for joining us, J. Michael.
That's an absolute pleasure, Roy. Thank you for having me.
What do you love about audio description?
I love that it helps people. And I know that's a short answer, but I love the fact that it creates accessibility for people who might otherwise not have it and allows them to enjoy the things that we all have the privilege to enjoy among those of us who are not faced with disabilities and difficulties.
One of the things that I love about your answer is how it parallels what you're doing, that going from 3 decades as a voice actor to expanding your opportunities, and not your opportunities, but opportunities for others to grow in this business. That is yet another form of, let's call it, connection. Does that resonate with you?
God, it is a wonderful part of what we do now because it allows us to just commune with the people that have allowed us to have the lifestyle that we have and have helped me build the career that I have and have embraced Anna in her coming into the community in the past 5 or 6 years the way that she has. And I never want to be disingenuous and position something that we charge money for and that we, in theory, are operating as a for-profit business and kind of giving back. But at the end of the day, it is a labor of love.
There's something wonderful about that. What is that? What is community to you? Why does that matter?
It matters because there's nothing more rewarding in this business, in life, I think, than you can make all the money you want. You can have all the accolades you want. You can do it. But getting a letter from somebody saying, you helped me buy my first home, getting a thank you card or 50 of them at Christmas from people that, I won't bullshit you. Sometimes you've forgotten what you did with that person, right? And then you get that card and it says, thank you so much for this. I got this agent. I did this thing. I booked this thing. And it's just, okay, that, and just the fact that we're all batshit crazy and we all come from this same weird creative cloth and we all are stuck in our little padded rooms for so much of our lives that the ability to be with like-minded people in a part of the entertainment industry that is uniquely nice. And there are exceptions to that rule, but they tend to get throttled out of the industry pretty quickly. It's not like the on camera or music where you're always looking for, or theater where you're looking for the knife in your back. Here you're going to have an arm on your back and your shoulder, and it's not going to have a knife in it. And so we're less stabby. That's what I'm trying to say.
I get that. That stabbiness comes from a form of misunderstood competition?
I think so. And I think that the biggest difference between the voiceover industry and so many other parts of the entertainment industry is that, at least for people who have been here for more than 5 minutes, we come from a place of abundance. We know that the jobs that are meant for us, we're going to book them. And if we don't book it, it's not because somebody was better. We just weren't the right choice for that job, even if we gave our best possible read. And we also know that despite all of the panic mongers and fear mongers and FUD mongers out there, that there is far more work out there than there is quality talent to do it. And that may not be the case in other parts of the entertainment industry, so I get it. But this is a uniquely abundant industry. It has been as long as I've been in it, and it continues to be.
When you talk about abundance, I can't help but think about audio description, specifically on the film and TV side, that there's now over 14,000 titles that have audio description. Talk about abundance. There's something to that. Now, granted, there's all sorts of other things that we could explore, but that's a significant number. And for us to have this conversation on our podcast, the Audio Description Network Alliance, that's what the ADNA Presents, the acronym stands for. I was so excited to have you because you are featuring audio description again for your upcoming VO Atlanta conference. Can we talk a little bit about that?
Yeah, we are. And we think it's an important part of the industry that more people need to know about, be aware of what it is, be aware of how to get into it, how to become a part of that part of our world. VO Atlanta strives to be the Super Bowl of the voiceover industry, and that it's a buffet. JMC, by the way, stands for just more calories, so everything's a food analogy. But VO Atlanta is a buffet of all of the things that make this business what it is. And I think that certainly in recent times, audio description has been becoming more and more prominent. People are becoming more and more aware of it. It's becoming a very desirable genre for people to be a part of, not only because it can help pay the bills, but also for the reasons we talked about at the top. It helps other people as well. And so it's such a beautiful place to play. And I know people like you and the organizations you're involved with just bring so much to that and add so much to our business. So we're grateful that you're going to be a part of the event.
Yeah, I'm going to enjoy that buffet. And especially since every single day, it seems like there's another chicken nugget picture that you're sharing on social media.
God, I don't know when that started, but it certainly has been, it's become a thing. I'm running out of nuggets. Or at least I'm running out of nugget pictures. I can bloviate and come up with advice off some of it's useful, some of it's not. But when I hit writer's block, you can tell because usually the third one is some comment about a capybara or occasionally a llama. But
it all comes around. What I'm really interested in, my first time at VO Atlanta was last year. There was representation on disability side, both in the participants that were showing up as attending and also some panels. The disability is represented in VO Atlanta. Can you talk a little bit about that?
I think it's important for us to make sure that there's representation across the board in VO Atlanta. Atlanta, just as a city, is an extraordinarily diverse place, just like our community in our industry is an extraordinarily diverse place. And what's so cool about what we do is that it doesn't matter if you have a physical disability, if you have ADHD, if you have any other kind of challenge. In fact, in many cases, those kinds of things can sometimes bring out artistic colors in people that are just extraordinary and special, and that somebody who doesn't have that lived experience doesn't necessarily have. So I think being able to feature people from all walks of life and to make sure that there is a platform for people who face challenges is important. We're doing that at One Voice 2 this year. We're having a disability panel at One Voice this year. It is our mission at VO Atlanta to be a hub of inclusivity.
When I think about the cultural changes that are happening in the overall voiceover side, you've seen some changes, I'm positive.
I've been around for a long time.
What's something that you've gone through, maybe a challenge that you're really proud of how you overcame? Anything come to mind?
I think I've had the interesting both opportunity and challenge over the years to be at the front of a lot of shifts in the industry. And
did you say shifts or shit? Go on.
Shifts, not shit. I don't know. It depends if you hear my reads or not, but ask my agents about that.
Sorry.
But there's nothing worse than a shit in the industry. I won't name any of them. But so didn't we talk about being nice earlier? We tried. It was just a mask. It's off now.
Shifts in the industry.
That's the Gossip Girl part of the program. No, I've seen so many shifts in the industry, and I've jumped on them. I've gone after them, and there have been good and bad things that have come with that. I was one of the early adopters of the online casting DIY voiceover world when it started to become a thing, and I took a lot of heat for that. There were a lot of people going, why the hell are you doing this? Back before the sites became as evil as they are now, but people were going, where are you doing this stuff? Why are you on these online casting platforms? Look, I'm not doing the $200 jobs. I'm on there because there's high quality stuff being posted. You can negotiate your own usage. You can get on there and do your own thing. And there were 24 of us back in the mid 2000s into the early 20 teens or so before some of the sites started to go off the rails. We made a fortune on those sites. And then as they started to shift, and probably one more than most became a little darker in nature, we started to move away, and then my career started to shift again. It's been really interesting to go through starting out as an agency-based old school talent in the 1990s, and then moving into the DIY world. And then as you get to around the pandemic, which, by the way, was the only time in my career that I've ever turned to Anna and gone, okay, glad we've done all right, because I don't know what the fuck's going to happen. And then I had the two best months of my career. And the industry, again, shifted again into different notes. Different types of talent were becoming more popular. And then coming back into the agency-based represented world, where that's where the majority of my work comes from now. 7 or 8 years ago, that wasn't the case. But then 20-some years ago, it was the case. It's being willing to just say, okay, I'm going to go where I'm going to do it my way. I'm going to go where I think things are moving, where I think the bread is going to be buttered, and not necessarily worrying about what everybody thinks. The challenge is that you take heat when you do that. You take heat when you speak your opinion. You take heat when you go against the consensus in many cases. And sometimes you're right, sometimes you're wrong. But I'm somebody who, okay, you know what? I'm going to get psychological on you here. I'm somebody who I'm a people pleaser. I like to be liked. The hardest thing in the world for me is saying no to people. The hardest part about owning conferences is, over the last couple of years, having gone from the first years of VOA and the retreats and everything else to where we just said yes to everybody. And then, we lost $75,000 this year, to being able to just say no. And this is what it has to be. It's got to be this way. But it's hard being that in this industry, because when you are that, you become consumed by saying yes. And I'm fucking rambling. It's a challenging thing when you want to make everybody happy and you realize you can't. And eventually you do come to the point where you go, okay, I'm going to create my own peace and I'm going to protect my own space. But if there's any challenge I think I've overcome in my career, it's understanding that you can't be all things to all people.
Thank you for that. I'm thinking about an article I read recently about organizations, companies specifically, that reward success and punish failure. And those companies end up being stasis. They just flatline and nothing happens, and then they go away. The companies that actually reward risk and celebrate, hey, this didn't work out the way we thought, but we tried it and that gave us something else. I don't see the direct connection with you, because your choices, your way, seem to have really worked out incredibly well, but there is an element of risk there, that you've taken some chances in resisting, as you said, the psychological people-pleasing part of you that wants to say yes, but recognizes the no here is the safe and actually kind answer for all involved.
Right.
When I think about risk specifically in audio description, I recognize a lot of things that are shifting, and there's a way to take advantage of the Wild West here. I'm curious if you've experienced any of that recently in voiceover, maybe either within the conference setting or maybe in your other aspects of voiceover.
I like the Wild West analogy, because I think that's very much where we are in the industry these days. We've been there for a while, but I think the West is getting wilder and wilder over time. There's so many different ways you can find work these days. And the route that I take, the route that you take, the route that somebody else takes might not be the route that everybody recommends, might not be the accepted way, but I think people need to find their own path, and they need to find their own peace, and they need to find their own trajectory. And I think that the 30 years into this crazy journey, and I'm 47, so I actually 32 years, because my first paid voiceover was at 15. And so I'm fairly young for somebody who's been in this for 37, though I'm biologically 82. But I think at this point, what I've learned is that it's okay if not everybody thinks you're the greatest person on the face of the earth. It's okay if some people just flip and don't like you. And 5 or 6 years ago, that's not where my head was. My head was, maybe you do things your own way, but you got to make sure that the water stays smooth and that you don't ruffle any feathers. And I think just getting to where you can be confident in the decisions that you make, be confident in your own integrity, be confident in the fact that you're making choices that are best for you, the people that you support, the people around you, the ecosystem, if you have one that you support, with regards to other people in the industry who may rely upon you for things. And that if they're haters, then haters are part of the price that you pay for taking risks.
Thanks for sharing that. I resonate with the integrity piece and how to navigate that. When you think about our audience, which is primarily audio description audiences, audio description professionals, people that are interested in it, inside the voiceover world and outside, is there anything that we haven't covered yet in this conversation that you'd love to share with those people?
I think the biggest thing is just trust your gut, work hard, understand the craft, work with great people like Roy so you know what the heck you're doing. If I was going to get into audio description, he'd be one of the first people that I would call. And make sure that you have your ducks in a row before you put yourself out there. But then when you do it with abandon and have fun and embrace the process, and what comes will come. And if it works out for you, great. If it doesn't, maybe you're meant to do something else. But do things that are true to you and true to who you are and true to what your heart wants out of this industry. Do it for the right reasons. Look, we all want to get paid, but at the same time, do it with purpose.
Thanks for sharing that. I know VO Atlanta is coming up. If there's still availability for people that might be interested in coming, is that a possibility? Is that something that you could talk about? Any other ways
Yes,
that we could
so
follow you?
we're probably going to sell out somewhere around, if I had to guess right now based on the metrics that we've got, 5 to 7 days before the conference. And usually what happens then is that we're hard sold out for a day or two, and then we'll have a couple of cancellations come in. So we usually take a waiting list, and we often can clear maybe like 10 or a dozen more people between then and the conference. But if you wait like the day of or the day before, it's probably not going to happen. We learned our lesson the hard way the first year we were running it, where I had one of my team come running to me at like 12 o'clock going, "You need to go to Anna Ganguz's room right now." And I was like, "Why? What's going on?" And it just comes. So I go in there, and there are 30 people standing in the back and 15 people sitting on the floor. It was not a huge room. It was a room that could accommodate maybe 80 people or so, but she had 120. And I'm sitting there going, "Oh, okay. So we just learned that the capacity for this event is 1,000. And I went back and told Anna, I said, "We have to shut the website down." Because there were like people coming in, walking in the door with money, with cash, going, we want to, can we be a part of this? Sometimes local people who didn't know about it and then heard about it and came in. And so we were at one point, we're like, the fire marshal is going to come. So we do actually have a limit, and now we know what that is. But yeah, if you want to join us, there is still time. voatlanta.me, voatlanta.me is the site that we were bequeathed when we put the conference, and we've kept it. That is how you get your ticket. We have a compendium of fantastic X sessions, which are our 3-hour paid workshops, and that's an opportunity to get in front of some top-tier people, both on the casting side and on the performance side, with a maximum of 12 people in each of those sessions. Some are sold out, but we do have some that still have availability, so check those out. And yeah, we'd love to see you. You get a couple of good meals that the Hilton charges as Michelin star prices for. I'm not going to promise you Michelin star food, but it'll be some of the best fried chicken and mashed potatoes and other lovely things that you've ever had. It's not going to be your buffet rubber chicken that you usually get at hotels. It's pretty high quality. So yeah, come play.
VO Atlanta is the 26th to the 29th of March.
That is correct, yes.
Awesome, great. And I'm assuming voatlanta.me stands for much enjoyment. Did I get that right?
I hope so. And if not, we're going to change it to make it.
Fair enough. Great. Anything else? Any other ways to follow you? Social media? Anything else?
You can find me at jmcvoiceover.com for my voiceover related services. If you want to pay me to talk, and if you'd like to work with me as a demo producer or a coach, that can be dubious in terms of my availability, which is why I have a bunch of affiliates. But jmcdemos.com is where you can hear some of our demo work.
Thanks so much for being a part of this podcast. It's great to have you, J. Michael.
Thank you for having me. I hope I didn't run my mouth too much.
Not at all. It was great. Really enjoyed this.